Okay, so social media conversations brought to life, episode two. Now we're going to discuss the protests that were going on across the country today, but more so what happened in Bristol. Obviously, being based in Bristol, I want to put a point across about it. Basically, it was a protest. It was people protesting this new police bill, police anti-protest bill, basically. Um, it, the bill, if you for 1 minute think the bill's not dangerous, you're stupid anyway. Like, the bill is dangerous. The moment our ability to voice our opinion or stand out and say we don't accept this, that's a dangerous place to be. So I'm not completely. It's not that I'm completely insensitive as to why there was even a protest, because I'm certainly not. It's just you have to be a bit more logical than perhaps some people have been, shall we say. Uh, yeah, it's the bill basically gives police in Parliament powers to shut down protests, which brings its own queries. I mean, for some reason, we're stuck in this position at the moment where we have these people who are, you know, yeah, the police should have more authority, they should stamp down on this, and yeah, we need to be protected, and we shouldn't have this, we shouldn't. And then the other side who are, fuck anybody who ever tells me to do anything. Like the old, like, you're a dinner lady, you can't tell me anything mentality from school. Like, what? We're stuck between the two. There's no logic being used at the moment on mass, or the people who are being logical are being ignored by these two extremes in politics, in everyday life, in race, in social media wars. For some reason, we're stuck on these two extremes, and anyone who's using logic down the middle is being completely suppressed or ridiculed by both sides. So it's just fucking crazy. It's just the bill in itself is dangerous. And if you're someone who says, I don't question what the government says to me, I don't question whether we should be allowed, no, we should do as we're told. There are laws to follow, there are rules to follow, and we should do as we're told. Like, fuck off. Did you bring an apple in every Monday and give it to your German teacher or something? Like, what? What? No, come on. We got to get out of this mentality of you have to follow everything, you have to believe everything. You don't. We don't. Your government are not making decisions based on you. They're making decisions based on, so say, everybody. But unfortunately, that everybody accounts for a lot of people who aren't fucking you. On the other extreme, we've got this people who are like, we can do what we like. Oh, like running around like they're Kinnicky and Danny Zuko from the T-Birds or something, and should be able to run around and do exactly what they want, and none of the rules apply to them. They're the cool kids, and like, well, no, fuck you. Like, we need these rules, and we need them because of people like you, because a lot of the time these people are who conduct themselves this way, a lot of the time they're the ones who aren't going to be there to back you up. They're not the ones who have got your support when it's needed. So they're big and they're shouting over your shoulder, but they're very much the guy who's, when you're having an argument with someone outside of a nightclub, they're the one who's over your shoulder shouting, yeah, yeah, get them. We've got to get past these two extremes. We've got to start looking at the logic down the middle. So today was like brilliant entertainment. Bristol Live did a Facebook live stream from the event. Fair play to them. It was absolutely brilliant. I don't know the guy's name, but he was brilliant. Basically, he did a great thing right in the thick of it. Recorded as much as he could. It was absolutely brilliant. It was amazing. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was scary. It was intimidating. It was all the things that you want from Sunday night TV that are the opposite to Songs of Praise. That's what this was, basically. It was like brilliant. I mean, at one point, the police got their dogs And the whole crowd turned around and started giving the dogs pizza. They were throwing pizza at the dogs. And the police dog turned and attacked its handler. Now, I mean, I don't care who you are. And maybe it's because I'm a bit of an antagonist, but I think it's always kind of funny when a dog attacks its handler. I think it's funny, no matter what the circumstance. The guy had a police dog hanging off of his police stab vest, whilst the other dogs were having pizza thrown at them from the crowd. That is genius. That, I mean, if you want to shut down a protester, that was absolutely genius. I could watch stuff like that all night. And it's important that we do note that all day these protests have been going on, and they were peaceful for the majority of the time. It had gone on since 10 a.m, let's say. It was early in the morning, let's say 10 a.m. And it had gone all throughout Bristol city centre, thought it was finishing at Castle Park, and then somehow it got down to Bridewell police station. I think the police were scared that there was going to be an attack on the police station itself, and so they created like some barricades around that area. Cool, fair enough. Don't really have much objection to that. Now, my stance on it is I'm not a fan of the bill. Not the old 90s police drama. I mean, I am a fan of the bill, and so should you be. In fact, I think if Dave Quinnan would have been on this case, it'd have been over and done with immediately. Chuck Tony stamping is over. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this this policing bill, police powers anti-protest bill. I think it's very important that we have a chance to voice our opinions. And I think it's very important that as a society, we can voice those opinions in an appropriate way, right? I mean, nobody wants pissed up people running through the streets saying, fuck the police, fuck the police. It's not, no logical person wants that. And if you're a person who wants a society without police and governance, you're an idiot. It's that simple. We need police, we need governance, but we need to find a way for that to represent I would say us, but I mean people, everyone, race, colour, creed, heritage, all of those things aside, people need to be represented. And I think that's what's being lost. Now, we have these group of people who attend these places. And I have to say, if you're attending any protest and you have taken with you a balaclava, a ski mask, a motorbike helmet, or any of the other such paraphernalia, you are going with bad intentions. It's that simple. If you attend a protest with implements to cover your identity, your intentions and reasons for going to that protest are to do things that you are either too embarrassed to have your face or be recognised for, or you're scared of the legal repercussions if you are recognised for what you're about to do. So the moment you attended today, or any other day that you've attended a protest, and you've taken a balaclava, ski mask, anonymous mask, all of these things to conceal your identity, you've gone with bad intentions immediately. And telling me otherwise, I couldn't give a toss for. It's important to realise here that there's no one on this planet who wants more than myself for you to have your freedoms to express exactly how you feel. No one. Freedom of speech is of utmost priority to me, whether that's in comedy, social commentary. The fact that I get to do this on YouTube or Facebook, it's massively important to me. But I also realise that things like Facebook and stuff are not a social enterprise. They are a private business. If Facebook wants to remove my video, I'll think they're assholes, but I'm going to laugh about it and I'm going to understand that's their right. My right is to say exactly what I like. Anybody else has a right to not listen or to remove that. If I spray graffiti on your front wall, you're allowed to wash it off or stop me from doing so. And it's exactly the same with Facebook or any other entity. The moment you, a privately owned entity, the moment you start to enforce your will on them and you say, you can't take this down, freedom of speech, you're going against the very thing that you're protesting. There is a name for that: hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite, okay? I'm not one of those people. So, listen, if you want to take my shit down, take it down. I talk a lot of bollocks. I'll admit that. I'll be the first to admit that. Now, today, what we saw riots, basically. Like, people thinking that you can approach this and the way to resolve this issue is with violent. It's hard to even call it violent because dickheads weren't even being violent. Like, listen, there was 5,000 people and there was a line of 40 police. If 5,000 people can't breach a line of 30 riot police, you are not fucking rioting hard enough. You're half-hearted. It's that simple. Like, come on. 300 people, that's 10 to 1 people, should be able to breach a 30-man riot squad. If your intent is to breach the line, you should be able to breach that line. The reason you didn't breach the line is you really aren't that, you're half-hearted, aren't you? You got 5 people at the front shouting a load of noise while the rest behind are jumping over the top, throwing fucking cans of Thatcher's haze. You don't really want to breach the line. You're all scared of getting hit with truncheons and batons and stuff. And also you're scared of what you're going to do when you breach the line. You're those people who are going to run through, get through, and you're going to be like, whoa, what do we do now? So you make all this uproar and kick off and chaos, and you throw things, you try and tip things over, you set fire to police wagons and stuff, and do nothing. You do nothing. You're like the guy who's trying to fight with the bankster. His mates are holding him back. They get bored and oh, well, fuck it then if you want to fight. And all of a sudden, all your fight's gone out of you. Because you realise you're being a dickhead. You're only there because you think it's fun. Well, you're on social media and you're criticising people for not standing up for their freedoms. You're the reason this is going to be taken down. The fascist regime's going to get us. But you don't either. You want to go out, you want to make a load of noise and throw stuff at police wagons until it actually turns on you. And then you're the people who don't want to actually know about it. So you just run through the city creating as much mayhem as you possibly can while having absolutely zero effect on the overall thing that you're trying to achieve. It's laughable. I want the same things as you. I don't want the bill. The bill's poor. Everybody has a chance, should have a chance to voice their opinion. But I don't think buying a 12-inch Subway and throwing 6 inches of it in the hope that one of your meatballs might hit a police officer who's dressed up like G.I. Joe could honestly fucking stand on a landmine and survive. It's not the way forward. What the fuck are we thinking? If we could just come together and if you could present what you're trying to do peacefully, we could stop the world. Every single person just stands together and says, nope, we're not doing anything. We're not going to work in Tesco's. Four Boys is going to be closed. Your local Spar, 11 o'clock shut, not even opening today. Shut the lot down. You could do all the bankers don't go to work. Art galleries don't open. Nobody. The whole country freezes and stops. Nobody swears. Nobody shouts. Nobody riots. Nobody throws half-eaten taka-taka against bus windows. Just stop. Everything just stops. And it gets everyone's attention. Because the way to hurt these people, by these people I mean government, etc., is financially. That's what they care about. We're a money-making system for them. Instead, no, what you want to do is you want to get together, dress like fucking idiots, and throw things. I mean, it's embarrassing. The people who had your back are now condemning you. What you're doing is you're scaring people who would otherwise be stood with you. If you could approach this in a way showed peace, quiet, like an organised movement, what's going to happen is the 5,000 of you who are there are going to get seen by 100,000 people. Those 100,000 people are going to say, actually, they're doing the right thing. Let's go and join them. You're going to triple, quadruple your numbers because people are going to be encouraged. They'll want to bring their kids to a peaceful protest where people just sit and refuse to move and refuse to conform. Instead, you create an incident that you'd have to be an Avenger to want to be involved in. It's just not, nobody's going to want to be there. You make it a place where even people who have your back don't want to walk through the city centre. People don't want to come to the protest because they're scared of what it might become. And what you're actually doing is you're damaging real world problems. Like the BLM ones, it turned violent and windows being smashed. I support your cause. Millions of people support your cause. But I can't be out at night and be worried that I'm going to get hit with a stray bottle or I'm going to get arrested because someone smashed a window and I happen to be in the vicinity. I'm not going to be a part of that. And so you are isolating and alienating the people who really want to support this cause. It's, don't get me wrong, if any chance I can see a police dog turn around and bite a policeman, I'm going to be there because it was funny shit. But I support the police. These are normal, everyday people going to work. They're not part of an overall fascist government-ruled regime. They have to go and do a job. If I say to you, right, the whole country has to shut down and you don't go to work, and that's what, and you say, oh, well, no, because I'll get fired. It's the same for the police. If they don't go and do their job, they get fired. These are people. The people who you talk about, we need to stand up for the people. They are the people. There is no them in us. The them in us is way above PCO Gary. Do you know what I mean? It's not, he's going to work so he can feed his 3 kids and probably get away from his moaning missus because he's been under her feet because he's been furloughed for so long. Do you know what I mean? It's just, they're everyday people. What you've also done as well is you've conflated again the COVID situation, which I, for one, am sick of hearing about. And now you've got people saying that you're endangering lives because, which we know is stupid, but you've, in a time when things are already tumultuous, you've made it 10 times worse. In your infinite wisdom, I know what we'll do. We'll go on a march, and at the end of the march, we'll stand on roofs and spray paint stuff on things and set fire to police wagons. It's just, it's craziness. You're insane. It's absolutely mental that at any point you can think that what you are doing is the correct way. The fact that I sit here and I find the people who want to agree with this, as in the bill, the people who want to agree with the bill, I find myself more aligned with them than I do with the idiots who want to go out and have a riot on the street that isn't really a riot because you can't even get past a 30-man barricade. Like, it's laughable. It's a laughable excuse for a riot, for one. And for two, it's a laughable reason to be rioting. The word protest should be exactly that. You protest what is happening. They want you to do this, you protest that by not doing it. If there is a bill being launched to stop people protesting, the only thing worse than protesting you can do is creating such a scene that they want to make the bill worse. You did it. You did it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them things. It's like the kid who used to get after school detentions and he never used to show up. You keep him at lunch. You know he's going to be in school, so you stop and go and have his lunch break. It's simple logic. Like, you're just being assholes. And the other side of being assholes, because what happens is the people who are in the middle, the people who agree with this bill, they're assholes anyway. You should not be agreeing with a bill that stops people having a voice. But you're condemning people who are in the middle, like me, as being part of the problem, what happened today, those assholes. We're not the same people. All of this is too conflated. There are two completely separate, different arguments here. But on another passing note, among all the mayhem, all the criticisms, all the things that I've seen on social media, I'm going to leave you with something that I saw which made all of this worth it. The thing that made the whole of today worth it, and this proves to me there is genuine hope for humanity, for humour, for comedy. Someone really gets me, okay? And here it is. Among the mayhem, there was a sign, a lone sign. I saw plenty of signs. I didn't even bother to read them. But the camera panned across one sign. And if you don't appreciate this, we aren't the same people. But someone held up a sign today that said, "There ain't no sunshine until this bill withers." There ain't no sunshine until this bill withers. And I'm going to leave you with that.